Greetings and konnichiwa, and welcome to the Onyx Tavern. This is your host, the BARKEEP, bringing you podcast 85 here at the Tavern, presented by Hirotaku.com. Well, as stated before, San Diego Comic-Con has revealed a lot of big news for several franchises in the last few days. And there's been one big announcement coming from the Shout Factory at this convention that is just mind-blowing, in my opinion. And that is that the Shout Factory is releasing the complete series on DVD in the United States of Zyuranger. Yes, for the first time ever, Sentai will be coming to DVD in the United States. I have a lot to talk about on this issue, not just the Zyuranger release, but my feelings on DVD distribution prior to this announcement, and just the accessibility of Sentai video and information that we've had in essentially the past 20 years. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about kind of my thoughts on DVD distribution and how it's played up till now, and then talk about the release of Zyuranger and how I feel this will be effective of the future of Sentai releases, basically. So let's go ahead and kind of start with DVD distribution. The first thing that's always bothered me is that it seems, and this is just from my perspective, but it seems to me that Toei is trying to limit American access to Sentai. Now, why do I say that? Well, first of all, Sentai has only ever appeared on American television in Hawaii during the 1980s, where it would be on at like 3 in the morning or something from one of the Japanese channels. That's been like the first exposure that Sentai ever got to the United States, was through those broadcasts in Hawaii. And why not? Because Hawaii does get other Japanese broadcasts, especially around that time. Now, of course, the next exposure it really got was when, Zyuranger was converted into Power Rangers. And a lot of people at that time, and even up until now, until, the internet became prevalent and they actually cared to look this stuff up, is that they always thought Power Rangers was an American-made product. Until the internet came out, here's the thing. I did not realize that Power Rangers was a Japanese show until 1998. So that's 5 years. 5 years that I was watching Power Rangers and did not realize it was a Japanese show. Now, why did I not know it was a Japanese show? Well, because the information wasn't out there. Nobody was ever saying, hey, it's being adapted from, Mega Ranger, it's being adapted from Zyuranger and all that. That wasn't kind of a thing. Then we had the internet, Japanese people went ahead and told us, and we're like, wow, this is cool. And ever since then, I started to follow it, and then in recent years, I've actually gotten into Sentai a lot more because of the ability to watch it on the internet. Now, I say the ability to watch it on the internet because we have never had an official release of Sentai within the United States. They've never released it on DVD. They've never, broadcast on television with subs or dubs, with the exception of Dynaman, and that's a different story we'll get into and all that. But it's never been something that Toei has been willing to share with us. Now, really, the only way you can go ahead and watch Sentai without being Japanese is to go online to YouTube or many dub sites like Grown Ups and Spandex. Now, here's the problem kind of with both of these, which leads into a lot of my frustrations. First of all, if the video is on YouTube, it's not going to be on YouTube for very long. What's going to happen is Toei will flag the video, take it down, and close a lot of people's accounts. I've been subscribed to at least 3 different accounts that would have Sentai videos available, particularly Tokuger, that have been closed down because of multiple copyright violations, because Toei is finding these videos and taking them down. And some of them are raw, and a lot of them are dubbed or subbed versions of the Sentai. Now, of course, everybody's going to talk about copyright claims and stuff like that, but I feel this is one way that Toei is limiting access of Sentai, because let's be honest here, the only way to view Sentai is to do it illegally. That's just a fact of life. We can go over to Japan and all that, but to be an American and be able to watch it affordably, and I'll get into that stuff in a minute, you have to do it through any legal means. You have to buy a bootleg DVD. You have to wait for somebody on YouTube to upload it. And because Toei's been flagging these videos, a lot of those are unlisted or private now, to where only if you subscribe to newsletters or Facebook pages do you even get the links. And a lot of times too, Grown Ups in Spandex just now finished Zyuranger, a show that came out in 1994. They just now finished the subs of the series. And in a lot of shows, like look at Jacka, you might get the first few episodes, but if you want to watch all of Jacka, that's not available out there because there isn't a particular interest in Jacka as opposed to the more modern Sentais or the quote classic Sentais like Jetman and Zyuranger. So they're just really hard to go ahead and find. Now, interestingly, Toei is making a lot of their episodes of series like Zyuranger and Ranger and Jacka and Dynaman available online to watch, but only if you live in Japan. Because I subscribe to Toei's official YouTube channel, and they would actually post every day a video, or every other day a video of some sort of Sentai, whether it be Zyuranger, or they would post Kamen Rider content, or any number of things. And every time I try to watch, it says this is not available in your country. But when I came here to Japan and I try to watch it, plays perfectly. No problems whatsoever. I can watch it all I want. So what Toei is officially doing is that they are not allowing Americans to view their product in the United States. If you're Japanese, you can watch it all you want for free. Here it is. Look online. Go ahead and watch it. But if you're an American, they don't grant you that freedom. They're saying, no, you can't watch our products. And if you do somehow get a hold of our products and post them online, we're going to hunt you down and take them down. Now, luckily, groups like Grown Ups in Spandex, which are non-profit, by the way, that's a good thing that they're doing there. But the fact is, Toei really doesn't want you to have Sentai over here. And by over here, I mean the United States, because, well, again, I'm currently in Japan. Now, I'll tell you something else that's kind of odd. So I've gone to many video stores and DVD stores and manga stores. I mean, they're everywhere here. It's like vending machines. You walk 10 feet, you find one. So I go there, and I actually found Volume 8 of Live Man. Now, the thing is, I recently downloaded all of Live Man from Grown Ups in Spandex. So I have all, I think, 48 episodes available on my iTunes right now to go ahead and watch. But I thought to myself, what if I go ahead and buy this DVD? Well, I looked at DVD. It's a one disc set or two disc set, that has 5 episodes on each disc. So a total of 10 episodes from the series. I was like, okay, that's awesome. How much is it? And the price was 8,800 yen, which roughly translates to $88 American. So, if I legitimately want to buy Live Man, not only do I have to go to Japan, I have to buy it for $88 for 10 episodes, mind you. 10 episodes for $88. And it's Region 2, so I'd have to buy a Region 2 player or completely convert my computer to Region 2 full time. And it doesn't come with any type of subtitles. Therefore, I would have to learn Japanese in order to go ahead and watch it. And not only just learn it, but be fluent in it to understand exactly what's going on there. So even though you can buy it legally, they don't make it easy for you to buy. I'm sure your typical Japanese person can spare 8,000 yen to go ahead and buy a DVD, 2 DVDs like that. But your typical American, oh my goodness, could you imagine if they came out with 10 episodes of Deep Space Nine on DVD and it was $88 for it? And don't think that Live Man was an exception. I found the Zyuranger movie, The 100 Years After, which, by the way, is only about 45 minutes long, I think. That was about 5,000 yen. That was $50 for one DVD. The Blu-ray was 7,000 yen. That was $70 for a single Blu-ray. I think the most I've ever paid for a Blu-ray was maybe $40. And that was for a special collector's edition of Watchmen. No, it wasn't even that. I can't even remember what I spent it on. The point is, That is way too much to pay, to where even if I was on, because I used to always think when I would go online to like CD Japan or anything like that, that they were just price gouging me, that was too expensive. And because, I mean, can you imagine paying $88 and then having to pay shipping for something like that? I mean, it's outrageous. You're going to spend over $100 for 2 DVDs, basically. I mean, I just go ahead and find it ridiculous. But when I think about it, it's just their way of really, I think, preventing it from getting over to the United States, because they've made it so inconvenient in location, in pricing, in compatibility with technology, and culturally, because, again, they don't dub it or sub it for an American audience. I mean, that's just crazy. I don't really understand that. So they're really limiting our ability to watch this series. Now, what's even worse, and I've heard several people quote this, and there are several sources on this. The validity of it, I'm not quite sure, but I'm going to tell you guys anyway, because it sounds like something that would go ahead and happen given the track record. So if I'm completely wrong on this, please let me know, but this is the story I've heard for a number of years, and I finally want to kind of share it with you guys as far as how it made me feel when I heard it. And hopefully it is not true now given that the Shout Factory is releasing Zyuranger. But this is what I've heard. So as we all know, Disney went ahead and purchased the rights to Power Rangers in 2001, 2002. And then, of course, they were going to go ahead and cancel the series. That was what they were going to go ahead and do. But according to what I've heard, they also purchased the DVD distribution rights to Super Sentai. Everything from Go Ranger up until what was then the present and all future releases. They got an exclusive contract with Toei, again, on North American distribution rights. And of course, when you hear something like that, you're like, oh, so they have the rights, so they're now going to go ahead and release them. That's awesome. Thank you, Disney, for doing that. Well, that's not what happened. Again, Zyuranger is the first one we've ever heard being released, which means Disney, for over 10 years now, 14 years now, has had the distribution rights of Sentai and DVD, but never did anything with them. And why is that? Well, again, from what I've been told, it's that they bought the rights to them so that nobody else would. Now, the logic was that if we buy the rights to Power Rangers, we're going to release Power Rangers on DVD. And in all fairness, they did. They released Ninja Storm, Dino Thunder, SPD. All those got DVD releases under Disney's watch. But they were afraid that somebody would get the distribution rights to Super Sentai, given Power Rangers' popularity, and of course anime's popularity and other Japanese things at the time, that somebody would buy the rights to Sentai and sell them in the United States. And then at some point, some uninformed or confused parent would mistake Super Sentai with Power Rangers, buy it for their children, and then get offended by the content in there. So basically what they were worried about is what the Asylum was doing, where the Asylum was basically taking recent hit movies, releasing their own versions of the film or a different story altogether on DVD to almost confuse people who are buying it. Because if you look at Transformers, when it came out, Asylum had a film called Transmorphers, which looked almost identical to the cover. But you would have to actually read it to realize it's not the same movie. And they've done this with, like, when Pacific Rim came out, they came up with Atlantic Rim. And they came up with the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes. Asylum came with its own Sherlock Holmes, which had Dominic Keaton, by the way. I'd like to look into that because, he was actually a good actor from Enterprise. But they were kind of wary of this, like, other competition on the market. Not so much that it would take away from their sales, but the idea that it would be confusing and they would get hit with all these problems because they own Power Rangers and people, I'm going to be honest, there's still a lot of people who don't realize that Power Rangers is based on a Japanese television series, and they would complain to Disney about it. So that would explain why we never got that. Now, if this story is true, then shame on Disney. My goodness. Because Disney and its giant empire could have released Super Sentai, high definition Blu-ray, subtitles, bonus contents, all this amazing stuff they do with their releases. And also, by the way, this was at the time of Disney direct-to-video or direct-to-DVD spin-offs, Cinderella 3, anyone, that they were trying to make a killing in the DVD market, and yet they would have the rights to an amazing television show and choose not to release it in America. Now, I would like to think that what's happened with the Shout Factory disproves that entire argument, because now Shout Factory has it. Because I would find it hard that the Shout Factory could wrestle away DVD distribution rights in North America from Disney on any show, let alone Super Sentai. So I'm hoping that entire story I told was untrue, but I've always kind of believed it because it does sound like something that Disney would go ahead and do, particularly after I spoke to somebody who was an executive at Disney not too long ago, and he made it clear under no uncertain terms that Power Rangers was crap and he wanted nothing to do with it. So, yeah, that was kind of a thing. But Zyuranger is now coming to DVD. Obviously, it's going to be subbed. I don't know why they wouldn't go ahead and have it subbed. And my hope is that the Shout Factory is going to do something special with this. You know, a lot of shows don't need a lot to them. That you can go buy the DVD, has no bonus features, but as long as you get all the episodes uncut, cleaned up, and presented well, I think that's all you really need. But given the popularity of Power Rangers and the popularity of Sentai, they would need to put, I want to see bonus features. I want to see interviews from the original directors, the creators, the original actors. Obviously, we have to be dubbed or subbed or whatever, but I want to see like a making of featurette of Zyuranger and even talk about the history of how Toei worked with Saban to create the Power Rangers. That's the kind of thing I want to see. And again, in all the episodes that were in there, I want to see them cleaned up, high quality, just make them the best that you can, and don't edit anything out. And I mean, give us clear, uncut episodes. So don't shy away from blood or curse words or death or anything like that. Give us to us pure and unedited. That's all I'm asking for that. And I'm going to tell you right now, I know that the Power Rangers set was $600, but you also remember that's 20 years of DVDs you have to go ahead and buy. I don't care how much Zyuranger is. I'm going to have to go ahead and buy that no matter what. Because, and I'm going to suggest everybody who loves Sentai to do the same. You have to go ahead and buy it. And why? Because they need to see that people are hungry for this. That they want Super Sentai. Yes, you're going to make a couple of YouTube channels disappear, but Toei's doing that already. You might make grown-ups in spandex go obsolete for Sentai, and that's going to be unfortunate. But the fact of the matter is, we need to be able to show Toei, we need to show Saban, we need to show Shout Factory that there is a great interest in Super Sentai in this country, that people want it. If I could, I would buy every episode from Go Ranger up to Tokuger on high-definition Blu-ray. That's what I want. But we have to support Zyuranger in order to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to buy it. Even if they come up with Dynaman, I'm going to buy Dynaman. If they come out with Jetman, I'm going to buy Jetman. If they come out with Geki Ranger, which I already own illegally, by the way, I'm going to go ahead and buy it anyway. So that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that we can get Super Sentai on DVD, and at very least, if it doesn't work on DVD, let's get it to Netflix. Oh my god, could you imagine Netflix binging on Super Sentai? To me, that's a perfect world right there. Friday night, 2 liter of Mountain Dew and Sunkiss and a pizza, watching Super Sentai all night. Hey, that's my dream, man. But I really hope that this will lead to a full release of Super Sentai and better distribution of Sentai in America. Not that I hope it's going to kill Power Rangers, because Power Rangers and Sentai are really two separate entities, and they have their own place within history and in culture. And you really can't have Power Rangers without Super Sentai, but you can have Super Sentai without Power Rangers. But the thing is that they are separate, where you can release Sentai DVDs in America, and you can still release Power Rangers on television, and people are going to go ahead and watch it. So I just hope that they take note of that, and that's exactly what we're going to go ahead and get. So let's end this. To Toei, release them, get them out there, let us have them, give us information. We are hungry for this show, for the knowledge that it pertains, or that it contains, so give it to us in Shout Factory. I hope you get the rights to every Sentai show, every Sentai movie, every Sentai crossover, every Sentai everything, so that one day we Americans can have everything legally and enjoy it. Because you know what? We have money. We love your show. We want to give it to you, but you don't want it. So maybe it's because the Japanese dollar to the yen is bad. I don't know. Or the American dollar is bad to the Japanese yen. Who knows? We'll go ahead and see. But that's kind of all the thoughts that I had on this particular topic. But I'm really curious to know what everybody else thinks about this. I mean, seriously, what do you guys think of the news that Zyuranger's coming out on DVD? Do you think this is going to lead to more Sentai coming out on DVD? And what does this ultimately mean for the Power Rangers? And I do wonder if Saban may have a similar view as Disney supposedly did with distributing, because you know there is going to be that one dumb parent out there that sees Zyuranger. Is that Power Rangers? Oh, well, I'm not going to bother to read the box and the content, but I'll buy it for my kid. There is going to be a small number of that, but I think on the whole it's going to be more beneficial culturally, and more beneficial for the fans all around the world if we can get this done and it's successful. So that's all I have to say on the topic. Again, curious to know what your all's thoughts and comments on this, so definitely leave in the comment section below. Otherwise, I want to thank you guys for listening. Have a good evening, and the tavern is now closed.